cool.
I feel alive.
You do feel alive, Tilly. You also take a really long time in the toilet, and I wanted to address that. Because
No, you make it sound weird.
you're in trouble.
Welcome back to the 13 Again podcast.
Are you aware how much
Starts introing.
strain you have caused? Not only my brain, but the brains of people who work for very big, very important companies.
I'll be real, I thought it was funny, to be fair.
Okay, wait. Look at my face. Does it look like I care?
For anyone who doesn't know, Tilly, we were filming this on Sunday of April. I don't know what the date is. Is it the 12th?
13th.
It's the 13th of April. The 13th of
Get
April.
your facts right.
On the 12th of April, Tilly leaked.
Was it the 12th? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you leaked our music.
Oh, oops.
Yeah, okay, no, listen. I thank you, because I don't want to sound ungrateful, but
Yeah,
also...
you're welcome, by the way.
No, but also, all of these companies plan things meticulously and like put together marketing strategies and plans and everything. And we sent you that song in confidence to listen to, not to do anything with.
I'm so sorry.
Well, that's not good enough. You're lucky that the people at Warner Music are very nice people and they've managed to work a way around it now so that we can just start promoting the song now.
I think they did like that she liked the song.
Yeah, no, they're thrilled that you like the song. Thank you, by the
you're
way.
welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But still, besides the point, what the fuck?
Yeah, well, it's like every time you're like, oh, our music should be out soon. Like, we're trying to get music out soon. The people are waiting.
Yeah.
She is thinking of the people.
Yeah. No, and
I'm on their side.
the people were grateful, so I can't really. I'm not winning this argument. I don't think. I just, in the interest of keeping my head screwed on to the body.
That doesn't happen very often.
No, I know.
Would you do it again?
100%.
We're not sending her any music ever again. She's out.
Okay.
You can't be trusted.
I'll find my way to it.
You'll have to be put in like a room secluded to everything else, and you get to listen to the song once, and then you're done. You have to
She's
wait.
going to start singing it everywhere. She'll do her own version.
Yeah.
Tilly 2.
Remix.
Yeah. Right. Well, anyway, now
You're
that we
welcome.
got out of the way.
I'm waiting for her.
No, thank you. Yes, I thank you so much for leaking our music before it was supposed to be heard. Have you got something?
Have a go at him now.
No, he's not done anything. You wanted to talk about something.
Oh, you want me to do my...
I do, yes.
Okay, so... music related, fortunately. Coachella has been happening over this weekend, and it is quite interesting to see all the performances and how they're going down, and it does seem like everything has been much more social media led this year in terms of Coachella. And that makes sense because everyone that goes sort of posts it on social media. That's kind of the point. I don't ever want to say I've despised Coachella because I think Coachella is sick. What I don't like, and I think what most people don't like, is how unappreciative the audiences are of certain performances and,
Well, I think UK crowds just go harder than US crowds.
which is absolutely the case. But there are absolutely some US crowds in terms of certain events that love that shit that they're going to see and give it all of their energy, and you can't fault them at that point.
What's the most insane festival experience you've had?
I've only ever really been to Camp Festival.
Family festival.
You told me one earlier. Something that happened to you at a festival.
I don't remember.
It had to do with
cat.
No. It had to do with a run-in with Alison Hammond.
Oh, yeah.
What did you do?
That was cool. Basically, at Camp Festival last year, they had these, like, fruity drinks. Like, some of them, there was, like, 1 or 2 non-alcoholic ones, and there was one really good one. I can't remember what it was, actually. It was really good, though. We would always go and get it. And, like, so we would we would share who bought it, and we would always just share it.
Yeah.
And so it was me, Darcy, and Isabel, and we were just walking around. We were, like, drinking from it, and then we saw Alison Hammond, and we were like, we love her. Like, Isabel and I loved, like, her memes and stuff. Like, we love her, but, like,
She's
we just
brilliant.
Alison is great.
like, we love her. So we were like, we've got to say hi. We were like, we've got to ask for a photo. She was genuinely just, like, wandering around. So we were like, hi, like, nice to meet you. And I was holding, like, the drink in my hand, and it was like the outside of it was like a pineapple,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. And like the drink was inside, which it was quite cool. And she was like, "Oh, what was that?" And I was like, I just said what it was. And I was like, I was quite in shock that she was actually starting a conversation with me. And she was
That's
like,
awesome.
and she was like, "Oh, it looks really interesting." I was like, "Do you want some?" And she was like, "Oh yeah, go on then." And so
That's just such a brilliant response. Like,
But-
yes, sure.
For foreign audience information, Alison Hammond is a very popular TV presenter over here in this country. She is hilarious, renowned for her laugh. Anyway,
Yeah, she's
so
very funny.
then afterwards we were like, who's gonna drink from the straw after her first?
Are you sharing
And
a straw with Alison
we did a
Hammond?
rock paper scissors who got to.
no way.
If Alison Hammond for some reason sees this and is now
Oh.
mortified by this fact, sorry.
I'm sorry, but it's just because we love you so much. Like, it's
Yeah.
not we didn't mean to do it to be creepy.
Oh, it
I
sounds
realised how
creepy.
creepy it sounds.
Definitely sounds
But we thought
creepy.
it was funny as well. Like we thought it was quite funny.
At
So
least
we
it
were
wasn't
like,
just you that was being weird about it. I guess
Yeah.
that helps.
So I'm glad we got that tidbit, but I actually didn't get to make my point at all, which I'm going to come back to.
I enjoyed that
No,
more.
that was fantastic. You will enjoy this though. So basically, Benson Boone was doing Coachella this year.
Oh, I saw what he did.
Okay, so I'm about to explain it. So let me explain it.
Yeah.
Basically, he started Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen. He was doing a tribute. Everyone,
Isn't that a group song?
it's Queen.
It's Queen.
Freddie Mercury.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
don't really.
He's the singer. So Benson was channeling his inner Freddie.
He looks a little bit like him, doesn't he?
A little bit,
Sort
yeah,
of,
yeah. And doing his cool flips and stuff. He started on the piano, got to the sort of main bit, and then comes the guitar solo. And you're thinking, oh, what's going to happen here? Slowly rises Brian May.
Yeah.
From this, like, you know those like launch platforms that they have, but it wasn't. They didn't launch him up. That would have killed him.
Yeah, he'd have broken his
but yeah,
legs.
they slowly rose him up. I have never heard such a mild crowd reaction
Yeah.
to a literal member of Queen.
But you know what? They wouldn't have known. They just
But
wouldn't have known.
But that's appalling.
No, I
They
know,
are one
I know,
of the
I know.
biggest bands on this planet. And, I know a lot of Americans know Benson and they were giving him a good reaction. But for then a legend to rise up from the stage.
Describe what Brian May looks like.
Old.
She fucking nailed it, to be fair.
Yeah, yes, okay. But anything else? Because he is quite distinctive looking.
Glasses.
No.
He went out on a limb.
He might have glasses, but I don't think he was wearing them on the
No.
night.
He's got
Well-
long grey hair.
No, but
Curly.
he literally, his hair almost looks like one of those people in like a judge.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Court.
You know, people that have a gavel.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what.
So
it
he's
sounds
a
like.
really distinctive looking guy.
I was getting
yeah.
there.
But no one would know to. It's the
Still.
same. It's the same if genuinely, if you brought Paul McCartney out at Coachella and didn't say Paul McCartney, also probably from the Beatles, they wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Some would, but like at
that's
Coachella,
my issue and difference with it is even with a legend from America, most of their legends in music, the people in the UK would know because we are cultured enough to recognize a face or understand significance. To not put two and two together of a lead guitarist being center stage and rising up and being like, that must be even if they don't know his name, that must be the guy from Queen.
But
and
again-
they still were like,
it's a generation thing. What's the big fact about Stevie Wonder? The main thing about him.
He plays something. Or he's,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
that's not the fact, though.
Is that not the fact?
It's not to do with
Stevie
music.
Wonder.
This is what I mean.
No,
this
I know, I
generation
know
doesn't
it.
know these things
I do
because it's just
know.
not
That
Give me
there.
a
generation
clue.
is not going to Coachella.
Give me a
That's
clue.
why
No,
I
I
have
know,
such
but
an
still,
issue
it's
with
close.
it.
It's
Give me a
close.
clue.
Not close.
And also, they're watching the
Give
same
me a
stuff on
clue.
social
Give me a
media.
clue.
He's blind, you div.
Oh, I knew it because we were talking about that earlier.
Oh yeah, we actually yeah. But that's my point is that obviously you're annoyed especially because you're a musician as well.
Yeah.
You're gonna know all these names and faces
I'm really
for the most
annoyed
part.
now.
But even then,
You should have given me a clue, idiot.
You were taking too long.
there are some things that you wouldn't recognize initially, but then when someone told you go, oh yeah, of
Yeah, I
course.
get, but my issue, they're at a music festival. They are clearly fans of music.
They're at a music festival for the
Yeah, but
social
you don't-
media.
You don't have to be a fan of
But
Brian
that's
May
my
or
problem.
Queen.
That's my issue.
You don't have to be a fan of Queen to be a fan of music.
You're missing my issue. You're completely missing my issue.
I nailed his issue on the head.
Yeah.
It's a legend in the game for that many people to not realise. Totally get it if a few people in the crowd just don't know
think
because
the
they're not into
frustrating
that
thing.
music.
The frustrating thing I will argue is that everyone in that crowd definitely knew Bohemian Rhapsody.
Exactly.
So to not then know the
Exactly.
guitarist it's again not that fair because I don't know. Do you know the guitarist from Slipknot?
No.
Do you know the guitarist
There's
from...
not a legend though. They're not legends.
All right, what's
They're
one
Slipknot.
of the guitarists from Coldplay called?
That's so different, and you know that's different.
I know it is different, but it's not.
If someone were to
different.
rise a Coldplay member,
Okay, what's the fourth member of the Beatles called?
Ringo.
No, that's not who I mean.
Who is who you mean?
There's John
Paul,
Lennon,
John,
Paul McCartney,
Ringo
Starr, and exactly.
Jimi Hendrix.
Exactly. Who is it?
I do know.
Stevie Wonder.
John Lennon,
Yes,
Paul McCartney,
Stevie Wonder makes
Ringo
up the
Starr,
Beatles.
and you've actually stumped me, and I'm really annoyed about it.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's how I felt.
Still, I would,
that's a weird name.
I would have recognised someone like that coming up on stage if a Beatles
You would
song
not
were playing.
recognise George
No,
Harrison.
If there was,
You wouldn't.
If
You
there
don't
was
know what he
enough,
looks like.
If there was enough to put 2 and 2 together, like a Beatles song playing and someone rising like a
just
fucking
wanna
god,
myself
I would know. I would put 2 and 2 together and be like, that's cool.
I feel alive.
You do feel alive, Tilly. You also take a really long time in the toilet, and I wanted to address that. Because...
No, you make it sound weird.
No, but honestly, I waited for Tilly twice today
Yeah.
at the toilet, and genuinely, I could have been outside for like 15 minutes, and we went in at the same time, and I was just like, "Come on, Tills, you're in a public toilet. You've not gone for the second option, so there's definitely something going wrong here."
Explain
Well, there's
yourself.
more people to wait for.
Facts.
Were there?
Yeah.
There's no one in there.
How do you know?
Did you check?
No, I didn't
I
check.
hope you didn't.
Yeah. No, I didn't. Don't stop making that face. I didn't check. No, but what's going on?
It just, I actually for one, I wash my hands.
Uh-huh. So did I.
Also do that.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like you guys don't know.
Okay.
Or if you do, you don't do it thoroughly enough.
You know what I'm really bad for?
I'll sometimes give you thoroughly enough.
I'm always, English. I'm almost always coming out of a bathroom wiping my hands because I don't like using hand dryers.
Yeah, maybe that just means you've just gone like that under the tap. How does that mean you've
No,
washed
it
them
means
thoroughly?
he pissed on his hands.
Yeah, it means I'm getting the piss up onto my jumper so I don't shake it on someone else's hands. It's
Why are we
considerate.
doing
It's
this?
considerate. No. So anyway, I just wanted to address it because I can deal with once, right? But other people's time matters. You got to take that into
I
consideration.
didn't ask you to
sometimes,
wait
Jules.
for me though.
No, but I was trying to do the nice
And
thing.
I did say that to you.
He did.
At
He
the
said, "Why are
restaurant.
you
I was
waiting?"
like,
I was
"Why
like, "It's
are
the
you-"
polite thing to do." I went in. Well, I didn't go in with her, but I went to the toilets with Tilly, and I was like, "I'll just wait for her," because you know.
Our table was like 5 steps away from where you were
Chivalry
waiting.
isn't dead.
I
Come
thought you
on,
were about
people.
to say shivel me timbers.
What?
He said chivalry.
Why did I say shiver me timbers?
That's why I was confused.
Oh god, this is going off
Because
the rails. We're
all he-
4 episodes in.
All he said
We're
was,
done.
the table was 5 steps away, and you went chivalry. I thought you said shivel me.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I would like to say it now. We're 4 episodes in and we've hit 100k.
Yes, 100,000 subscribers. Woo! Thank you
Let's
so much, everyone.
go.
Honestly, it again, like we set the goal and we didn't expect it to happen that quickly. So thank you so much.
Now Dobby gets
It's
a
amazing.
mic.
And because we haven't done it yet.
No.
We're not. We're not giving Dobby a mic. Until we want 20,000 likes on an episode, any episode. We don't care which one. If we get 20,000 likes, we'll give Dobby a mic. Anyway,
Make it the one with curly in it.
we haven't. Oh, I see. One that already exists. I thought you meant for Dobby having a mic. I was like, that's already happened. Anyway, listen. We haven't even done an intro yet. So for anyone who doesn't know,
did.
you barely did. Welcome back to the 14 Again podcast. I'm Harvey, that's Max, and
Oh,
that's
I might have
Tilly.
said 13 again.
You might have done,
I think
actually.
I
Yeah,
did.
you probably did. It is technically always going to be the 13 Again podcast, but now we're on 14 again because Tilly is 14.
Again.
And please do subscribe, even though we've already hit 100,000 subscribers, and thank you. Please subscribe and like
Next
the video.
goal, 200,000. Let's go.
Leaving a like helps us massively get to more people.
Apparently, we get a plaque now.
Yeah, we're going to get a plaque. We're going to put it on that shelf behind me.
I wonder how
I
long
want
we'll have
one.
to wait though.
I don't really know. We haven't done it in so
I
long.
want
We've
one.
got an ancient 100,000 subscriber plaque in the study in our house.
And do you reckon they'd give us 3?
We can ask. Sometimes they do that. I think they only really do it for like 10
I would
million,
take
though.
2
I want one.
because it would be nice for her to have her own.
I see
one.
like a Max and Harvey one
Yeah,
and a Tilly
yeah,
one. Yeah. I mean, we're all 13 again, aren't we? So that sounds a bit
14
weird.
again.
Yeah,
10.
we're
So,
22.
So anyway, I want to go back to quickly. Are you going to start speeding up in the toilet? What the fuck's going on?
I think it's not up to you.
Why
You're
are you
not a
so
woman.
hooked on
You'll
this?
never
Because what's
understand.
going on in there? Is there like some sort of secret club or something that I don't know about? I'm like, my toilet experience is boring.
Party in the bathroom.
Is there something going on in the women's toilets that I don't
Well,
know?
we go in and there's these women who spray us with these really nice perfumes, and then they hand us a freebie, and then we go on in and we just go through like this really lovely like garden thing.
Yeah. I've
And
heard about the garden.
It all smells really nice.
Yeah.
And you have to wait for your toilet to be cleaned first.
I see.
After the next person.
Does each cubicle have its own cleaner, or is it
Yes.
just okay? So it's not a shared cleaner.
No,
Okay.
no. Gosh, who do you think we are?
Yeah.
I've got an interesting piece of information actually about one of the clubs I DJ in the Ministry of Sound toilet, and I'm pretty.
Feels like we were doing something else just then.
No. It's toilets. Don't worry, I've not
Okay,
moved
okay.
on.
Thank God we're still on toilets.
Yeah.
I was going to lose
God,
my
we
mind.
love toilets.
But and I'm pretty sure, and it is promise. It's only because I've seen videos, but it's in one of the girls' toilets in there. There's a button that you can press, and it starts a rave in the toilet.
That is cool.
And it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
lights
yeah.
start going off, and I don't know. I think they change the song every so often, but like yeah, it's pretty sick.
Well, when I went to Italy on the coach, 18-hour coach.
Oh yeah, Tilly's back from Italy.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah, thanks. When we went to Italy on the 18-hour coach, apparently, because loads of people were going to the toilet on the coach, and they were like, "Oh,
Ooh,
they don't
that's rough.
empty it out till we're back." So the whole time it was sat in there.
That is brutal.
I only used it once because
Number one.
because I was genuinely so desperate. Because on the way back, so we were supposed to stop every 4 hours. And on the way back, we stopped first 4 hours. I didn't need it that badly, and I was kind of falling asleep. So I was like, I don't want to get up, walk out, lose my falling asleep. I don't know how to explain
yeah.
it.
lose your drowse.
Lose my
Yeah.
comfortable position as well.
So you didn't get out every time.
No, and that was first stop. So I was like, oh, so the next stop would be at 1. And so I waited for 4 hours, and I was starting to really need the toilet. It was 1, and then we didn't get out. And we didn't stop. And then I was like, I really need the toilet. And then we didn't stop until we got to the ferry at 4 or 5. I'm not quite sure. I can't remember. But I was so desperate. And then I was going to wait till we got on the ferry. But in the queue for like them checking your passports and stuff, oh my days, it took about 10-15 minutes per coach, and there were 2 coaches in front of us. And I was like, I have to use that toilet. So I held my breath. I held my breath.
So you went in the coach toilet?
Yeah.
Did you speed it up while you were in there?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Yes.
No shock there. No gardens for you.
I just used the hand sanitizer outside instead because I was like, I couldn't hold my breath much longer.
That's impressive.
How was the ski trip? Best part, worst part?
Best part?
Shitloads of pasta.
Yeah, we had a lot of pasta.
Tilly gave me a debrief on all the pasta she ate on the trip. No. She talked about it.
I asked her a question.
I know, but I was setting her up for something she already told me.
She was going to answer.
She wasn't going to say about the pasta.
Go on then, Tills. What was your best and worst part?
The best part was probably like I did enjoy the skiing. Stop. Graham!
Shut up. I'm just going to bottle it next time. The whole thing.
I enjoyed like the people who I shared a room with, and I enjoyed like the time where we got in our rooms. But I also did enjoy dinner because of the table I was at. Because unfortunately our friend group did get split up. But the 3 other people I was at the table with, it was always funny. Like genuinely, we were always
That's good.
laughing. Like
Yeah.
it was the best part of the day because like whether we'd had the worst day skiing, we would always find something to laugh at dinner.
That's nice.
It
yeah.
was so funny.
And you look very tanned, I must say. So that's
Thanks.
probably a win for you.
Yes.
Seeing as you were a little bit nervous about the skiing.
And
when
at least
you...
it's not a goggle tan either. This
Yeah,
one
that's
kid
impressive.
got the worst
Oh.
goggle tan.
That's brutal.
And I'm not going to name names, but everyone knows who it is.
That's
The
brutal.
tan, and I've said this to him, the tan is like this. It's like a strip here, across, and then like it doesn't even go like down to his chin. Like there's another bit that it's like so weirdly uneven.
You know
bless.
what? At least it's unique.
It'll go away eventually. It shouldn't stay forever. Fortunately,
Facts.
that's how tanning works.
No, but I'm sure that was a big win for you. I imagine.
What was the worst part?
Oh yeah.
The worst part was,
The phones.
yeah, probably.
Do you want to own up to something real quick?
No.
I think you should. I think.
No, I don't
No.
know. I don't know about that.
Why not? It's done now.
Because I just don't.
What's gonna happen though?
I'd just rather not.
Probably for the best. Probably for the best not to.
Who watches
Well, I
the
know,
podcast
I
is
know,
gonna care?
but you know, people can understand what's happened from this, and I think we can imply it and move on.
Okay.
Just in case.
She wasn't
I don't
allowed
know.
her phone.
Yeah.
But the actual worst part was I'm going to be honest, on the second day, I had moved groups. I'd been moved groups. Had no friends in my group. I was fine with that at first. I was like, you know what? It's just skiing. Like, I'm not really going to get to talk to people anyway. But I didn't realise how physically and emotionally exhausted I was from the first day. And I realised that group was not for me. And by the end of the day, I was like literally begging to move groups because I was like, it's nothing really against anyone in the group. It's the fact that I don't know any of them.
Yeah, and you're not going to have nearly as much fun with someone that you've barely met
Exactly.
as you are with people that you're friends with that you've also paid to be on a trip
half
with.
the group was my year and the year below boys,
Mm.
and it was just like it was so hard to get on with them. And this kid, and I'm sorry if he's watching, and bless his heart, he knocked me over twice in the exact same spot in the exact same way.
Yeah.
How
While
does one
skiing,
do
I'm
that?
assuming.
Yeah, but just how does one do that? Do
Maybe
you not
he
learn?
was maybe he was a hitman. Maybe he
No,
was
'cause
sent.
he felt really bad every
Oh,
time he
okay.
did it.
That's his cover.
But like, I just didn't get it because like the first time he hit me, I was just so done with the day, like because it was towards the end of the day, and then I'm not gonna lie, I did start crying because I was fine with that at first. I was
Sorry,
honestly,
that's not funny.
I didn't care at first. It didn't affect me, and then I was just like, I couldn't get up. Oh my gosh! Every time you fall in skiing, it is so painfully hard to get up, and so I was fine with it. Tried to get up, and I just gave up. Like my whole body just collapsed.
Yeah.
And I was like, and then after that, I could not stop crying because I just like, I just,
Sorry.
oh my gosh, this bit's really funny. It's we went in my group, we went on the chairlift on our own, and when I got on, I just started like properly crying.
You
like,
were just escalating upwards, sobbing.
and then it was so loud as well. I was so scared that the person in front of me was going to turn around. But then my friends below me saw me, and they were like, Tilly, and I was like, I was like, hey guys, hey everyone.
Oh
like,
my God.
I was so glad I had goggles on.
Did you do one of those like big chairlifts that goes all the way up the
Yes.
mountain? Yeah, they're cool.
That's awesome.
That's
It was
fun.
quite scary though, but it was
Yeah.
actually the comfier one because one of them was just like normal metal and the other one like actually had like weirdly cushions on it and it
Oh,
was
nice.
really comfy.
Yeah.
It was so cold though, the wind against my face. It
Yeah.
hurt.
Yeah, no, bit of windburn there. You're saying about your lips
Yeah.
feeling really dry and messed up. I was gonna say it would have been really funny if we'd have taken her skiing when she was like little. Do you know what I mean? Have you seen those videos of that young girl
I've
that
seen
goes
they mic
skiing?
up.
Oh.
she's
Yeah, yeah.
fantastic.
But if
I've
we'd
seen
have done
her.
that with her when she was little and had the little bobbed hair and such, she
Yeah,
would have
but
been
Tilly would have just
so
gone-
funny.
Do you
Yeah.
There
know
would have been
another
no
traumatic
skiing
thing
to
that
it.
happened to me though is when the third day when then I was finally with my friends.
Yeah.
They all like their what's it called, like instructor, let them all go on together. So we all went on in a 3, and when I got on, my ski popped off.
Off when you were on the
One.
chairlift.
Yes.
Oh my God,
Just one.
that is concerning.
Did it fall?
Yes. But I wasn't too far up, so the people that help you on the chairlift, one of them picked it up, gave it to my instructor to take to me because he was behind us. So
Okay.
he took it to me. But when
Ah.
I got there, the guy stopped the chairlift for me and my friends, because obviously we were on the same one. And
Yeah.
bear in mind, when I realised it popped off, I started crying again. I was like,
Game over.
What is going on with you?
because most of the time I didn't cry. Every time I fell over, I did.
Sounds like you were
it
crying a
sounds
lot
like
of the
you did
time.
cry most of the
Because
time.
I kept falling off the chairlift at first. I would have a pattern. Like the first time I got off the chairlift, didn't fall over. Second time, fell over, and I started laughing.
Yeah.
Third time, didn't fall over. Fourth time, fell over. Fifth time, didn't. Like I had a pattern. Luckily,
Yeah.
I broke the pattern.
Well done.
But so I was like, walk. I didn't realize he picked it up. So I was like, I'm gonna have to ski with one ski. And I was going, why is it always me? And I started screaming. I was going, why?
Yeah.
Why is it always me? And then I
Truly
started
dramatic.
laughing. And like I did it before as well because, like I said, I couldn't stop crying. So to go back to the other day when I couldn't stop, I had taken like my skis off and stuff, and I was just crying from like the kid pushing me over,
Yeah.
like all the way back to then. And someone, like one of the staff at like the thing, like told my teacher that I was crying, so he came over to me and then he was like talking
You've been snitched
to me.
on.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I felt like. And he started talking to me, and I didn't really know what happened, but when I cry, I laugh. And he was like, "Are you crying or are you laughing?" And I was like, I don't know anymore. And he was like, I'm getting a bit more concerned than I would if you were just crying. And I was like, it's fine, don't worry about it. So like when I dropped my ski, I started crying and laughing at the same time because I was like, it's so funny, but it's also so annoying for me.
Your
So I was
teachers are going to think you're mental.
I was like, how am I? They did. I was like, how am I gonna get off? Because like, am I supposed to just balance, or am I supposed to pick the other one up and hop down with one ski boot?
How many times did you ski down in a day?
In the morning we would do about 3 or 4, and then in the afternoon about 4 or 5.
Nice. That's
And
a lot of
would
skiing.
you say you got better by the end?
Yeah,
Like, are you
definitely.
pretty good now? Like you could go down a hill
I
happily?
reckon she could
Yeah.
outski us.
She
at this
probably
point.
could,
We've
yeah.
not done it.
We didn't
so
really-
We wouldn't know.
We didn't really do it properly. We just sort of tried on
Yeah,
that
because
little
you didn't really
hill.
do many techniques except for snowplow.
No.
Mhm.
But maybe one day we'll go skiing and do a backflip or something. That'll be exciting.
That would be fun.
Well, the reason I was going there with that is I was talking about how the guy stopped the chairlift for us. And basically, when he stopped it, I was quite glad because the whole time I was going, how am I going to get off? Like, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
Like, while crying, laughing.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, what should I do? And then when we got there, he stopped it. He was like, get up. And so I got up.
That's a bit
He was
blunt.
they were really scary because they were so done.
Yeah.
And like also when people would fall over, they'd be like, move for the next people coming. And so he was like, get up. And I got up and he like stamped on it, unclipped it, and he was like, take your ski and walk down. And I was like, okay. So I just picked up my ski.
Wait,
walked-
even though someone was bringing you the other one?
Yeah, I picked up my ski, walked to the bottom, and then I put it down, put my foot back in it, and my instructor came, put the other one down, and I put my foot in it. And I was cool.
Oh, wow.
Other bro was fed up with kids at that point,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, you
But
were the icing on the cake.
My friend actually lost her pole as well, and she never found it in the end.
Oh.
Luckily, it was on the last day though. Like,
Did you bring your own poles or?
no, they like
I don't think anyone
Rent
brings their
them.
own
Well,
poles.
yeah.
Maybe like pros.
Yeah.
Bringing your own poles is quite bold.
I
The
do,
most
I
anyone
do no
did was-
poles.
the most
Yeah.
anyone did was brought their own helmet.
Ah.
Right. In the interest of moving on,
Mm.
we've got, so for anyone who hasn't been watching the podcast regularly, we've been asking for you guys to send in things that either your parents have done or teachers have done or anyone of authority has done that you think were unfair or just something that you maybe didn't necessarily agree with. We're going to read it and we're going to see what we think about it by the end of this. So hopefully we'll come to a conclusion of sorts. Now, this person wants to remain anonymous. Hey,
What?
pay attention.
I'm listening.
Watch it, you.
He hurt me.
Yeah, I know, but you're the problem as well.
How?
She
He hit
started
me.
it. She started it.
How?
I believe him.
Really? Because he always lies.
Yeah. So anyway, this person wants to stay anonymous, but a strict rule in my house: no sleepovers at friends' house whatsoever. Only family sleepovers allowed. So I grew up best friends with my next door neighbor, and not once was I allowed to sleep over at her house. I'm talking 9+ years of friendship. I would have understood more if she had older brothers, but she didn't. I found this extremely frustrating as a kid who constantly felt left out. So when I got an invite to sleep over for a birthday party and stuff, I was ecstatic until I had to leave earlier than everyone else. I had extreme FOMO. I respect her rule now at 17 years old, but I don't think a few sleepovers would have hurt anyone. Also said, BTW, I love the pod. You guys seem like amazing people. Cheers to Dobby. So nice little shout out from that person there. What do we think?
I think it's not that deep, really, because like my friend had a sleepover party and I had to go home early because I had to be up really early the next day to go to a rehearsal or a show. I'm not sure which one.
But this person's never allowed sleepovers.
Yeah.
And I
Ever.
had to leave early from one.
I had to leave early from like a party
That is
that
pretty
everyone
peak.
else was sleeping over at.
Yeah, I did that.
Yeah, okay, but once. this is my point, is that you've then other times been able to go to a sleepover. This person's like, nope, not a chance. Which, it makes me question what they're being protected from. I think that's where that comes from, is like the parent clearly fears something, or maybe it's just I don't know if it's like a disciplinary thing. It's really hard to know with stuff like this, because I don't think our mum would ever particularly go, no, I don't trust you to stay around that person's house.
I'm just not even sure I can make much of a comment on this. First of all, because like we didn't really do it that much when we
would
were
occasionally.
Only really at Dobbs or Tom's.
We had a couple other friends that we did when we were like 14, 15, 16 kind of age.
Maybe, yeah, nah. The only ones I can remember are like college, and that wasn't a sleepover. That was people having a sesh at ours and then needing somewhere to stay. That
basically,
was like,
yeah. No, but that's not even what I'm talking about. I just mean like in general, like you could have like a 4-person sleepover like you had before your birthday, for example. And like what this person's saying is that they think it's unfair to just never be allowed to have sleepovers. And I think that is unfair.
But what's the deal? Because after like she gets picked up, all they're going to do is go to sleep.
I get that, but
I'm not saying like, I'm saying what's the parents' deal?
Yeah, and you're right. It is like, well, you're letting them stay for 4 or 5 hours. What difference is an extra 12? I guess that does sound worse.
I suppose, now that I've thought about it a bit, maybe there is just a fear that some people have of, because if you've raised a child so long and you've woken up in your house with your child in your house for so many years, to wake up one morning and not have your child in your house, that is possibly quite a scary thing for some people.
Yeah, and it's got to be considered that it might just be that the parent cares so much about you that that sort of allowing you to be cared for by someone else is just too worrying for them to do. But that might not be the case, and I don't want to just write it off as that.
It's a tricky one, because I think the general consensus here is that most of us would have said it's not that deep. Like, why wouldn't you let your kid go and
but she was saying it's not that deep, don't ever go on a sleepover, was her argument.
Oh, really?
What was it?
Yeah. Well, you said, it's not that deep, I've missed a sleepover once. That was what you started with.
Yeah, but like, I also think it's not that deep, just let your kid sleep.
Yeah, I think yeah. as long as the parent knows where you're going, and I mean, surely they're going to be dropping their kid off anyway, so they'll be able to talk to the parent. And
does she just not trust any of her parents' friends? Wait, what?
No,
her friends' parents.
Yeah, her friends' parents. Well, that's the thing, is that I guess especially if you don't know the parents of the friend, that is different.
Yeah,
I think it is easier for
the
other
neighbor.
parents.
You've got to know the neighbor.
Oh, the neighbor, yeah, for sure. That's what she said, is that even her neighbor, who she was friends with for 9+ years, never allowed to sleep over, and that does feel a little bit harsh.
At the end of the day, most of the time, parents do what they can to protect you. So sometimes you just gotta, buckle up and enjoy your childhood as much as you can with whatever rules they put in place.
But that's also then being said from a very privileged position, where you haven't had to deal with that, so you wouldn't be as annoyed.
Well, yes and no. Because, I mean, we were, allowed to do a lot of things, but also we
actually, that's a good point. We left a lot of things early or never went to things. That was a big thing for us, but that was also a choice we made. Yeah. That's the difference, is that actually, even though we were encouraged by our parents, and sort of they said, look, if you're going to take this seriously, that's what you need to do. If you don't want to take it seriously, by all means. They gave us the choice, pretty much.
Some of the time.
Some of the time. When they knew they had to... Because we wouldn't always make good decisions. I mean, we still don't. But like, back when we really wouldn't make the best decisions, they would just be like, okay, you've got a very important event tomorrow or next week or whatever. You're not doing a party till midnight.
My friend had a party, and I think I had like an MYMT audition the next day.
Yeah.
And Mum gave me the option, and I wasn't going to go, but then I did go in the end. I was scared I was going to lose my voice, but I didn't, and then I got in.
Well done. I mean, and that's the thing, if you can stay disciplined and you know you can trust yourself, by all means do it and live your life and have fun and experience things whilst also doing the things you want to do. However, I couldn't be trusted back then, I don't think.
But for a quick solve for this person that's, given this to us, try and prove that you are a disciplined person. And obviously, maybe at 17 now, that's past your time. But for kids maybe watching this, if you give enough reason for your parents to be able to trust you, then you're only doing yourself a favor, kind of thing.
Also, and again, I know this is going to be scary for some people, and I know it might not get the response they want, but I think you should, if your parents are very, like, you know, willing to explain things, which some people are, some people aren't, ask what it is, and don't ask it in like an attacky way. Like, don't try and be sort of angry about it,
yeah.
but just ask what is the issue, just so I know and I understand, and if there's anything that I can do to make it more likely that I'm allowed to, I would love to understand better.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're not willing to tell you that, then they're not willing to tell you that. And it is, you know, some people just won't be. But if it is something that you can help, you know, work out together, it's worth asking. I know, again, it might be scary for some people. You never know what someone's situation is like, but if it's worth it that much to you, then ask. Any other thoughts before we move on?
No, I'm pretty wrapped
No?
on that.
Okay, well, hopefully we answered your question there. And best of luck to you for the future, even though you're already 17. Now, we did hit 100k subscribers. That was awesome.
Thank you, Tels.
Thanks so much. So I thought I would do 3 comment shout outs
Wow.
to celebrate because we're very grateful. And Tilly, look at her
What
go.
day.
It's been a long day. And Tilly is holding on by a piece of floss.
Before we get to this, because I know we'll do this and forget about it, there is a little shout out that we need to do.
There is. You're absolutely right. And I completely forgot, but thank you for reminding me. Okay. We received an absolutely amazing... Do you want to explain it? I've been talking a lot.
I can indeed. Yeah, we got possibly one of the loveliest letters we have ever received to our PO box. I mean, don't get me wrong, all of the letters that we receive are lovely, but this one, it did have something special about it. Basically,
Did you tell her about this?
I think Tilly knows. Yeah. There's a class of children out there that watch this podcast as part of their, I think, Friday film time type thing, and
I think other bits of our content here and there as
and
well.
other bits of content,
Yeah.
and to hear from I think the teacher that teaches these students how much our stuff means to them and influences them and helps them make better decisions. And I'm not going to go through everything that was put in the letter, but it genuinely, I don't know about you, it almost brought a tear to my eye. I was like, holy shit,
so
that
nice.
is so nice. I need to stop swearing because hopefully
This is literally,
she's gonna want to show
we're
this
about
to
to give
the
them a
kids.
shout out, and we're just all over the place.
Is it the Firefly class?
Oh, you were so close. It's the Dragonfly class.
Dragonfly class.
I was in Dragonfly.
I'm
Oh,
so sorry.
Tilly was a Dragonfly too. So shout out to the Dragonfly class. Thank you
class.
so much for watching the podcast. We really, really
My
appreciate
memory
it.
fails me.
But
I
you know what?
utterly
You
botched.
got as far as to remember that happened.
Yes.
So well done.
Yes.
But yeah, no, we're so grateful, and it means a lot. I know what we talk about sometimes is a little bit mental and a little bit weird, but at the same time, it's nice to know that people are getting something out of it, as well as just laughs. So yeah, we're truly honoured, and I think for you, Tills, as well, that must be so surreal being like a 14-year-old who's making a difference to someone else. Like, that's quite a young age.
I haven't had a chance to read the letter yet.
We'll get that to you.
You should read the letter.
Yeah, the letter's
It's a
lovely.
lovely letter.
But yeah, so thanks so much to them and to the person who sent it to us. You know who you are. Thank you so much. It really does mean the world. Now, to get onto the comment shout outs, because we hit 100,000 subscribers. The first one is to Farida Sultan, hopefully I got your name right, sorry if I didn't, who says, congrats on 100k. I thought I'd share this because it's kind of funny and I'm counting down podcasts until school ends. So I have 7 podcasts left until school ends. So thank you for using our podcast as a metric of time. We really appreciate it.
Fair.
Is that, we're all good with that one?
Yeah.
We'll go on to the next one. So Rachel Newman, 2685, says, big up the Dobby. I had a
Getting a lot of love, Dom.
Yeah. I had a few rules. So we're going to go through this person's rules and we're going to quick fire say agree or disagree.
Okay.
No dyeing of hair or piercings till 16 years old.
Disagree.
Agree.
Do you think that's unfair?
16.
I think piercings is fine.
Why
dyeing of
do people
hair-
under 16 need piercings? What for?
Yeah, but I get highlights.
I guess it depends what kind of dyeing of hair.
But I think, yeah, I don't think it's great, especially if you're dyeing the whole head, because you're still growing as a human, and
great
to
quickfire.
ruin your roots like that at a young age.
Get a grip, move on.
Yeah. Okay. Curfew of 10 p.m.
Ooh, at 16.
Let's assume they're 16.
Agree. Yeah.
I think that's fair.
You shouldn't
yeah.
be out later than 10
Yeah.
as a 16-year-old.
No boys in the house.
At
That's a tricky
16,
one.
it is a tricky
Disagree.
one.
You think they should be allowed to have boys in the house?
Yeah, I had a party the other day.
I would
true.
say yes, as long as they're vetted.
What
That's
does that
funny.
mean?
No, I agree.
Checked.
Yeah, like
Oh,
you
yeah,
don't
yeah.
just bring some rando
Yeah,
into
yeah.
like I wouldn't.
Yeah, what about cousins and stuff?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
they're all right. They've been checked.
Family's cool.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
when you get to 18, you pay your way if you want to go on holiday.
Disagree.
Now, this is the
Disagree.
thing. This is the really interesting thing. It is in our best interest to disagree, obviously.
Yeah.
What
I like
would
it. I like
say-
it when Paul pays for it.
Yeah, it's nice. What's weird about it is that we are happy to pay for certain things. We're absolutely happy to pay, but there are certain holidays that we're not that bothered by. And so I think if they want us to go, they're more likely to sweeten the offer if it's not paid.
I haven't been to our house in
But that's really like
I haven't been
shitty
to our
of
house
us.
in Spain yet.
Yeah.
And I have been, get this, roped into a holiday just so I can take her back on a plane.
That's funny.
And then take her to Canterbury for some reason. I have to drive to Canterbury.
You're going for
Isn't
songs
it-
of praise.
Isn't it for MYMT?
I don't know what it's for. I
Yeah,
wasn't
it
going to
is.
say it.
It's-
It doesn't matter.
It is.
I'm just saying stuff tills because I'm annoyed about it. Mum was like, "Oh, but I'll pay for your flights." I was like, "Will you? Thank you." Because I wasn't even going to go to Spain. She was like, "Can you come out for me so you can take Tilly back?" I was like, "I suppose I can."
That's brilliant.
But yeah.
Okay.
it's
And then I'm going to
crazy.
do the last comment shout out if we're all done with that. Sorry, I'm just, know that we've been here a while. It's for Maggie Sloan 7455 who said, "Love this channel. Feels like this community is one big Mills family." Oh,
How sweet.
Isn't that nice? And I have a question for everyone. Which sibling do you feel like you've bonded with more over the years? I'm 24 and just started to get close with my brother. It's just the two of us, so it must be different when there's more kids in the family. I think it's a hard question to answer that because we've all definitely bonded more. Now that we've
Anyone but
started.
Leo.
Yeah, but like it's weird because people will think, right? Let me clear this up. That's not fair. Let me clear this up.
No, but unfortunately, she's right.
No. Let me clear this up, right? Since we've started working together, because we spend more time with each other, we have bonded more. And that may sound really bad, but I don't see why that would be a bad thing. It's just all it does is encourage us to actually speak to each other more. Whereas before we just weren't because we were always not in the same stratosphere.
To actually answer the question, though, I would say in terms of work relationship, we absolutely have.
Yeah, we
more
probably
than-
know each other better than anyone else in this family.
But sibling relationship, I would say me and Tilly.
yeah.
And I try my absolute best with Leo, and not saying it's not that he makes it hard for me. It's that he's not here.
Yeah.
So it's like it's an unfair comparison, really. But
Can't
he
relate.
literally doesn't live at this house.
Yeah, Leo went to boarding school for anyone who doesn't know,
So-
and that was because he was just the smart one that our parents
No,
were like,
it's
right,
'cause
let's spend
everyone
money on
didn't want
his
him in our
education.
house anymore.
No, that's not true, Tilly. That's
Oh,
not
just
fair.
me. Sorry.
Yeah, okay, fine, whatever. Spray her. But the point is that Leo was the smart one, so spending a bit of
Not
money
anymore.
on his... Listen, Leo was the smart one, spending a bit of money on his education
I
made
think I'm
sense.
smarter than Leo.
We all went to bog standard regular education.
And I'm still smarter than him.
And okay, I don't know if that's entirely true.
Let's see what she gets on her GCSEs.
Yeah, I know. Let's wait for that, shall we? We'll do
So
a big
far I'm doing
reveal.
better than
We'll
him.
do a big
If you-
reveal on 16 again. How
Yeah,
about that?
If you dunk on Leo, that would be hilarious.
Subscribe so you don't miss Tilly's GCSE reveal in 16 again in 2 years.
Yeah, crazy.
That's exciting. So yeah, anyway, we've answered all the questions. If you do want a comment shout out in the next episode, leave a comment on this episode. It can be a question, it can be something you liked about the episode, whatever you want, and we might read it out next week. And we'll be back next week on
I have a
Saturday at
question.
8 p.m. What's your question?
Do you guys prefer square nails or round nails?
Ooh, round nails.
Because I've had both in the last
Can I see yours
2
now?
weeks. These ones are round, but the ones I had before were square.
Yeah,
Do you know what, though?
Round look better.
I prefer, this is not meant to be an insult. I prefer round nails, but I preferred the square ones you had to those ones.
Yeah, same.
I don't think they're the best nails you've had. I'll be
I
honest.
agree. They were very rushed.
Yeah.
But yeah, round nails.
I like the ones I had for Croatia. Those are my favorite.
Like more thin ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that tidbit, Tills.
Yeah, glad we did that.
Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you follow us on the make sure you follow on.
Make sure you follow us on Instagram and TikTok and all other socials. Max and Harvey for us, and Tilly's here too on TikTok or _Tilly Mills on Instagram.
Thanks
and
for
this
watching.
is all right. And now 5 seconds to decide if you want to watch that video.
Cheers, everyone.
Is that even
Hello.
going to be usable? Do you think?
They'll be able to
Really?
make it work.
All right. The video, yeah.